All right, mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear me? Anybody hear me? Send me a response in chat. All right, mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear me? Anybody hear me? Send me a response in chat. All right, thanks, Josh. Where are you streaming from, Josh? This is a live stream of my backyard poker video game. Well, join the live stream. You're going to learn a little bit about backyard poker. It's kind of the old style neighborhood dealer's choice poker that your grandfather used to play if you're a youngin'. And backyard poker is just the name that I give to the video game that I've created. I don't think it'll put it on tilt. So, Time to Fly, where are you connecting from? Are you on Twitch? So Time to Fly is asking, you made this game? Yes, I made this game. I'm a solo indie developer. Right now it's just a single player. I am working hard to get multiplayer done because that's really ultimately what I want the game to be, as a multiplayer game. But the first step is to get single player working, so when you see the gameplay, it'll be just me, my character, against computer AI players. Well, I'm excited to have you here, Time to Fly, and feel free to offer comments, questions. I'm highly encouraged. That's why I'm doing this. Have you been on my channel and seen any of my other videos? Or is this your first time completely to the Backyard Poker channel? Okay, you watch a lot of poker content, but this is going to be different. This is not your typical Texas Hold'em, so I hope you enjoy. It's keep an open mind. This is intended to be kind of a fun, relaxed way to play poker, other than your intense Texas Hold'em. Well, thank you. I appreciate you sharing to Facebook. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Good. I'm glad you like poker. It's been a lifelong interest of mine. My son as well. I roped in as many people as I could, family and friends. Yeah, I recommend, and in the description for this live stream, you'll see a playlist for top 10, not top 10, it's a 10-part poker basics. Let me shut this off. Poker basics, oops, no, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. I want to shut that up. Yeah, I have a poker basics that really explains this style of backyard poker. It's just a name that I created for your dealer's choice neighborhood poker. It's a lot more fun, relaxed, easygoing. If you got a lot of guys who like to play Texas Hold'em, this is something you can do on a night when you don't want to be too serious and you just want to have fun. No, I didn't shut up any tags. In Twitch? Yeah, I should have done that. You live in Vegas? Oh, wow. I'm heading out there in February or April. That's right. Yeah, that's the one thing about Hold'em is depending on what style you're playing, you can easily go from a player to being a spectator. You don't get that with backyard poker. You play till everybody agrees to stop. You don't become a spectator unless you want to be. All right, 7 o'clock. We've got a couple of viewers on here. I think I'm going to get going. So let me switch over. Everybody see me on the lower left-hand corner there? And everybody see the my Galaxy wallpaper with my game intro showing up here? Give me a yay or nay. Sure, I got desktop audio on. Everybody good? Hopefully you can see. All right, good. Let's get going. Well, I'm glad to see some new faces here. Slowly but surely, I'm hoping that the live stream audience improves and we get some actual people coming and playing, testing out the game, and giving me some good feedback. That's where I'm at. So I want to welcome everybody to, this is my second live stream backyard poker. I have a backyard poker video game that I am just starting to give a preview of. I'm basically just kind of showcasing where I'm at with the game. It's really still in a beta form. There's still a lot of functionality that I want to, that I'm going to be working on. Probably the most important is the multiplayer. This is meant to be a social game. It's meant to be fun. It has some elements of playing poker, but it also has some other elements of just having a fun night with friends, even if you're doing it in a real poker table or you're doing it at a game like I have. So last week we talked about the basics of my game, and I kind of touched on the differences between Texas Hold'em, your Texas Hold'em tournament style, and this neighborhood dealer's choice backyard style. And it's, oh, Bill, welcome. Good to have you here on this live stream. Bill's a longtime follower of my channel. Thanks. I'm very glad to have you here. Are you still live? Yeah, Bill, I'm live. So hopefully you're getting this. I'm seeing your chat, so hopefully you're catching what I'm saying right now. So I just started to. The important thing was to show the difference between how my poker game works differently than your Texas Hold'em poker games, whether it's a real poker game, Texas Hold'em game you play live, or some computer video game version of it. This one's a lot different, as you're going to see. So we focused a lot on how this style of poker is played, and then I went in and actually showed the how to play the game, my game. We create characters. You use little avatars that you use at the poker table to play. I showed how to play, start and create a high quality character, which you then give it a name, give it an avatar, and then you send it off to the poker table to play. And then I showed a couple of the basic games. So the basic games that I showed were 5-card draw, 5-card stud, and 7-card stud. And then I went through and showed some of the key things about how this BakYard poker video game works. And then just really kind of showed some of the ins and outs of the software. So if you want, after this live stream, if there's a couple of things you're confused about, you can shoot me a question here, or at your own time, on your own time, go ahead and check out the last week's live stream, and I have it on my YouTube channel. It's under the live tab. You will find that. I also have a playlist called previous live streams where you'll see all of my live streams as well. So let's get into what we're going to talk about this week. We're going to expand a little bit on what I was talking about last week. So what we're going to talk about is, last week we started with just the basic difficulty level. So my poker game has 3 different difficulty levels. You have your basic, your intermediate, and advanced. Today I'm going to show you the intermediate difficulty and what are the extra things that you get when you set it to that setting. And really what it is it expands the type of poker games that you can select from. And when you're using intermediate, you start using wild cards. And for those of you who just know Texas Hold'em, you may not even know the concept of wild cards. You may have seen wild cards if you're a video poker player, where they use like Deuces Wild or Joker Poker. Same concept here. We're going to be actually showing games that use wild cards. And then we're going to actually show a different way of creating a character. I showed the high quality character last week. This time I'm going to show the standard definition character. And when you use the standard definition character, you actually get to customize your character. The HQ characters I showed last week, you only could select one of 6 types. They were pre-made, prefabricated. The SD one has this system called Ready Player Me. It's an avatar system that I have connected with my game. It will allow you to create a custom avatar and then import it back into my game automatically, and you could use it to play the poker games. So it's really fun. I'm really excited to show that. Then I'm going to show some of the poker games that you get on intermediate difficulty, and that's with wild cards. Most of the intermediate difficulty level games include wild cards. Then I'm going to show a little bit more about the poker points. My poker game uses poker points. You use poker points to go up levels. When you go up levels, you're able to cheat. Yes, my game has cheating built in. So at a certain point, when you level up, you're actually able to cheat. I'm going to show that. I'm going to show how some of the cheats work, and whether or not you'll be able to succeed in cheating is also another factor that's in here. And then after that, I will go through a couple of more games just to show you some of the different various games that my BakYard Poker video game has. And that's the one thing about this game. There is a variety of games to play. Texas Hold'em is in it. You can play it as a single game, but there are all kinds of other games, stud, draw, and ones that don't even fall into those categories. And then at the end of this, we'll talk about what we're going to look at on my next live stream, which will be next Sunday. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is wild cards, because when I start showing this intermediate difficulty level games, you're going to see wild cards. So I'm getting asked a question, even with cheating, is there still skill that can be learned behind the games? Oh yeah, there is definitely skill in the game. The cheating is just an extra flavor. There's a lot of restrictions on it. I just thought it's a fun thing to do to have in the game, because again, this is not a strict poker game. This is supposed to be a social, fun game that people enjoy. So yeah, when I get into that, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let me load up a PowerPoint here to talk about, this sounds super, and I know a lot about yeah, blind baseball. Yes, that's a very good fun game. That's an advanced one. We won't be playing that one this time, but we may get into that in the next live stream or even after that. I might even have a special live stream talking about some of these advanced games, because they are pretty involved and we could take up a lot of time just doing that. So let me load up my PowerPoint here. We're going to talk about wild cards. So first question obviously is, well, what is a wild card? I think, well, actually, okay. So wild cards in poker is basically a predefined card. You can use it to represent any card to help your hand. That's what makes it wild. So one of the things that's, I've seen Royal versus Royal in blind baseball. Yes, you can easily get Royal flushes versus Royal flushes in blind baseball. That's a very good point. So let's take a look at a couple of examples of how a wild card would be used in a typical hand. So let's say we're going to play a game and we're going to have deuces wild. Deuces are twos, in case you don't know the old poker term there. Deuces wild, and we're going to look at a sample hand. Now, if I didn't have a wild card, I basically just have an ace high. Don't have a pair, don't have a flush, don't have a straight. I just basically have an ace high. But because that wild card is in there, the deuce, it changes that from an ace high card to a pair of aces. So a wild card, again, can represent any card to help your hand. In this case, it gives you a pair of aces. That gives you your best hand with that wild card. Now, wild cards can get a little bit, can be even more helpful depending on the type of hand you have. We'll say that deuces are still wild. And here in this 5-card hand, if we just were playing this straight, natural, with no wild, we would just have a 7 high. Almost a straight flush, but not quite. But because this is wild, it actually becomes the 5 of diamonds, and now you actually have a straight flush, 7 high, from using this wild card. So even if you had just not a straight flush, but a straight, it would complete that straight. Or if you had just 4 diamonds, it would be that 5th diamond to give you the flush. So the wild card does a lot to change your hand. Now here's another thing that's interesting. With wild cards, it is possible to have a hand rank that you don't get without wild cards. It's called 5 of a kind. And if you look at this right here, normally this would be a full house with just aces over twos. But with the wild, the deuces being wild, we go from a full house to a 5 of a kind. And then 5 of a kind actually beats a royal flush. And for the most part, it does, because I was showing my hand ranks from last week, and I'm going to show those again. And when you use wild cards, where are you at? There we are. When you use wild cards, normally if you're playing Texas Hold'em, highest hand is a royal flush. But the 5 of a kind actually beats the royal flush. So that's why we add this as a number 1. But it's only possible when you have wild cards. But I was just talking to my father, David. He's the one who taught me everything I know about poker. He brought up something interesting. He said, you know, this really isn't accurate, because we're really trying to rank these poker hands based on how likely you are to get them. Getting a royal flush, a natural royal flush, is a lot more difficult than a 5 of a kind. So he offered an alternative. Now, you can use either one. You can, when you go to play poker, and in my poker game, this is the way that the hand ranks will be done, where 5 of a kind always is going to beat a royal flush. But let's say you're going to play poker with some friends or family. Maybe you want to use an alternate style, which I'm going to show here. And in this case, let me zoom in a little bit here. In this case, what you have is, after the straight flush, you have a wild royal flush. Where a wild royal flush, the 5 of a kind beats that, but a natural royal flush will still beat 5 of a kind. So this is an alternate way that you could do hand ranks. My game doesn't use this. If you decide to play this style of poker with your friends and family, you could use either one of these. This one is probably more accurate. And when I play with my buddies, I might actually change my house rules so that we use this hand rank system for wild cards. But either way, should be fine. So let's see what we got here. I've seen royal. Easy way to look at it is there are 13 5 of a kinds. There are only 5 royals. That is very correct. That is very correct. So what Time to Fly is talking about in here is the likelihood and the odds of getting each of these hands using the second alternate hand rank rules is a little bit more accurate. So good point. Thank you. Let's go on and talk about when do we establish these wild cards? All right, so I'm going to play a game with wild cards. When do we say, hey, this is going to be wild? Well, there's actually a couple of different ways. There's really 2 major ways that you would call a wild card. Depends on the type of game that you're playing. So one of them could just be a fixed card, where at the beginning of the game, somebody says, hey, 5-card draw, 7s are wild. But then people get a little crazy. They say, you know what, we're going to play 7-card stud. We're going to say One-Eyed Jacks, the Man with the Axe, and the Suicide King are wild. And you may be thinking, the hell are those? Well, they're just cards, specific cards. So One-Eyed Jacks, as you can see here, is the Jack of Hearts and the Jack of Spades. I'm going to load up my little, I got a little pen thing here that I can use to show stuff. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so One-Eyed Jacks is the jacks that only show one eye, the Jack of Hearts and the Jack of Spades. The other 2 jacks have 2 eyes. The Man with the Axe is the King of Diamonds, because if you see here, he's got an axe. That's the Man with the Axe. The Suicide King is the King of Hearts, because if you look really close, the king looks like he's stabbing himself with his sword. So they call that the Suicide King. So this would be the wild cards where you were using One-Eyed Jacks, the Man with the Axe, and the Suicide King. So either way, you use a fixed wild establishment. So at the beginning of the game, you would call this. Now, that's one way of doing it. Another way is, get back to my screen here, is during the gameplay. So there are types of games where the wild card changes as you play. An example of that is Chase the Queen. So if you, yeah, Time to Fly says, you better use the old style cards when you're trying to establish One-Eyed Jacks, Man with the Axe, and Suicide King, because some of the newer cards don't have these pictures where you may not see an axe or you may not see one eye. Very good point. So yeah, if you are using a new deck, you better explain to everybody what those named cards are. So yeah, so 7-card stud, Chase the Queen. Chase the Queen is an example of where the wild card changes or gets established during gameplay. So 7-card stud, you deal 2 cards down, then 1 card face up, then another card face up, 4 face up cards, and the last card down. What happens is, in Chase the Queen, is if somebody gets dealt a queen face up, the card after it is wild. So let's say this was dealt to somebody. The next person gets dealt an 8. That becomes wild. And as you notice here, I'm changing the color of the cards to like a light purple fuchsia color. I use this exact same color in my game to signify wild cards. That's why I'm using this color here. So you'll see this later on in my game. So the next face-up card becomes wild. Now here's what's interesting about Chase the Queen. What happens if another queen turns up further along as you're playing the game? Well, guess what? Now the next card becomes wild, and the one before that becomes not wild. So it changes the wild card based on every time that a queen is dealt face up. And then whatever you end up with after those 4 up cards, that wild card remains wild for the rest of the game. Puts a little bit of interesting twist on it. Okay, so another thing that's interesting when you're playing wild cards, and this has to deal with some extra cards. And you might be saying, well, wait a minute, what about jokers?
Me? I was right here.
Oh, yeah, that's right, you have been. So the jokers can be used as wild cards. If you've ever seen video poker, you've seen jokers used in it. Any deck of cards will get jokers added to it. Now, depending on the type of deck that you can get anywhere from 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 jokers. So the great thing about jokers is they can just be used as wild cards. And that's all they would be used for. They don't really have any denomination on their own. They actually just act as wild cards. And a fun thing about that is you can create a lot of fun games using jokers as wild. My son Josh created a game called Jokes on You. It's a 7-card stud game, and the 3 jokers are used as wild cards, but you also have 3 community cards, and if a joker gets turned up, you turn over a community card, and that becomes wild. So you can do a lot of variation. Backyard poker is about variation. And my son just went in and said, hey, I'm going to create a game with jokers. And he created this game, and this is actually really fun. We've played it on a few actual poker nights. So that's really what jokers or I'm sorry, wild cards about. Let's get into the game now. So if you have any questions as we go along, let me know. I'm not going to be recapping everything from last week. So some of the stuff on the basic difficulty level, maybe catching the previous live stream will make more sense, but I think we'll be okay. It shouldn't be too bad. So when you load up my game, and by the way, my game is available. I have a link for it in the description of this live stream and last week's live stream. You can directly download it, or you can join my Discord. And I highly recommend joining my Discord because it has announcements on there. It has the revision list. I'm in constant revision. I'm revising this game all the time. So you can go to Discord and see what's new. I post a lot of upcoming preview things like characters, animations, features, suggestion box. So if you have suggestions for things to add to the game or change on the game, I have a channel for that. I have my YouTube channel links on there. So I highly recommend joining my Discord if you really have an interest in participating in how this game gets created. So for now, the one thing I wanted to show is when you first start the game, it does use this thing called Patch Kit. It goes and actually checks a cloud server to see whether or not you're running the latest version of the game. If not, it will automatically patch and bring you to the latest game. And if you want to, anytime you load up the game, you can click on the show change log, and it'll actually show you all the different changes that have been done to this. Last change I did was 3 days ago. And some of these changes were done based on some of the comments that I got in my last live stream. So I'm just going to click on the play button. Should load up my game. And I want to make sure that everybody is hearing the sound effects on my game. So I'm going to click this. Did you guys hear a little blip? I want to make sure you guys are hearing stuff in the game. Give me a shout back and let me know if you heard that. So if I select, should have heard a little. Okay, so you're hearing good. Hearing the sound effect. That's cool. Okay, so last week I showed you creating a high quality character, and as you notice, the character here looks eerily like the guy who actually created this poker game. This time we're going to create a different type of player. So I'm going to go over here and actually click on Create Player. I'm going to create a new player. Last week I used an HQ avatar, which gave you, it's a high quality, it's got a higher resolution with a lot of interesting nuances. But this time I'm going to create an SD avatar. This is what brings that Ready Player Me system into effect. So as soon as I click on this, it actually loads up Ready Player Me. Now for me, I'm logged in. So you can create a free account and you can start saving these avatars. And by the way, Ready Player Me is used on a lot of different video games. It's possible for you to take a character you create here and possibly bring it into another game. I haven't done much research on that, but from what I've told, it will allow you to do that in the future. So I'm just going to do this. This is what you normally would be presented if you go to create a character for the first time. You basically just say, well, what type of body type is your character going to be? I'm going to pick a masculine. And what you could do is you could actually use a camera, a webcam or phone or whatever hooked up to your computer, or if you were doing this through a web interface on your phone, you could technically do this. But through the game, you would probably use your webcam, and you could take a photo of yourself, and it'll create an avatar that looks somewhat like you. You could pick a picture of you or somebody else if you want. Excuse me. And it would create an avatar based on that. But I'm just going to continue without a photo. I'm going to start from scratch. And what it'll give you is some starter avatars. These aren't all the ones that you pick from. It's just a starting point. So I'll pick this guy right here. And I click on Next. Loads in that avatar. And this is where you get to have some fun. You get to customize your character. This is a lot different than the character I was showing last week, because you have a lot more ability to customize. So right off the bat here, I can change the skin color, go for a kind of a pale color, go for a tan, or go dark. Doesn't matter what you select here. It's up to you. Okay, so I'll stick with a pretty light-skinned guy. Doesn't get much sun. And then right over here is where I can choose the face style, like the chin and face. If I click on this, it may be a little hard to see, but it's making his chin and jaw larger or smaller or fuller. We'll stick with that. That looks good. And then I can go and systematically go in here and change the style of the eyes, so I can actually round them or squint them. You can give them all kind of ethnicity changes if you want. You can go in here and change the eyebrow style. There's quite a few eyebrow types that you can select. This guy's a little laggy right now, but let's see. There we go. Yeah, those are too thin. Those aren't manly eyebrows. That looks good. Okay, and then I can change the nose. You know, I'll give her a big fat nose there, I think. Or thin nose. Oh, this thing's lagging. Yeah, I'll stick with a fatter nose here. And I can go in, give it a little light beard here. Let's see if it fills it in. Yeah, we'll stick with that. He's looking cooler. Maybe give him some glasses. Let's give him some cool looking shades. There we go. And maybe a hat. Give him one of these little, here we go. There's a good poker hat. So you can, yeah. And then the outfits, where's the outfits? This guy right here. Click on a little shirt, and there are tons of outfits to pick from here. So I'll pick something, make them kind of formal looking here. Yeah, this guy's ready for some poker, man. He looks like a mark, I'll tell you that much. All right, so anyway, once you get done creating the character, and you can go back in here and edit this guy at any time if you want to. You click on Next, and what'll happen is it'll take that avatar that you created and it'll bring it into my game. It takes a couple of seconds for the first time, but you'll see it pop up over here. Now that game is usable in my poker game. So now that I have my avatar, I'm going to give this guy a name. So I'm going to call it Standard Definition Ryan. And then I can go in and I have a couple of voice types that you can use. So there's a couple of male voices that you can select from. So you have this one male voice here.
Let's go 25. Raise it 75. I fold. Victory.
You guys hearing that okay? I'm assuming you guys are hearing the voice sets here. So that's just a kind of standard, young guy male voice. But then you can start going into...
Pass me by. Good luck, mateys. Up for bounty a quarter. A pirate's luck.
There's a pirate thing. Some of these voices are actually generated with AI. I couldn't afford too many voice actors, although I do have voice actors. If I go to my game credits here, there are some actors and actresses, voice actors and actresses that actually contributed to this game. Very, very talented people, and you will hear some of those in this SD game type that we're going to select here. Anyway, I'm going to select just the player 1 here, and I'm going to switch from basic to intermediate. I want to have an intermediate difficulty level so that we can play the wild cards. I'm also going to keep cheating on because I'm going to show cheating later on in this live stream. And then I just simply click on the create new player. It creates the player, and then it loads you right into the poker room. So now we're actually at the poker table. You're sitting right here. Your character is here. And the first thing that you're going to get when you start a new game is you're the dealer. You get to start the game off. So this right here is basically asking you what game you want to play. And what I showed last week is you can go in and filter it, like only show me 5-card draw games, maybe only show me 7-card stud split pot games. So there's a lot of options for how you can filter. You can actually type in the name too if you want to. Spit in the Ocean's in there. So as you can see, there's already a few games we got here. We got what, 20 games to play here. When we get to advanced, we're going to have even more. The idea of this game is that I will be adding more and more games as this goes on. There are all kinds of dealer's choice poker variants that I'm looking forward to adding to this game. These are just the beginner ones, and it took a while because, you have to go in and program all this stuff so that it plays correctly. And one thing is, when you mouse over the game, over here on the upper right, the game description will show what the game actually is about. So it'll give you a little bit of a description on how to play the game. So a couple other things. Let's see if there's anything else. A couple of things to note. Both on the main screen and or the intro screen and here on the game screen, this version right here shows you the game version 0965. You'll see that increase a lot. Just want you to be aware in case I ever ask you, hey, what version of the game are you playing? You can find it right here. So I'm going to pick a game. We're going to pick 5-card draw with wild. So this one here is one where you get to pick what wild card that you want to have. Oh, I'm going to make 5s wild. So once you select the wild card, you click on Start Game. And in Backyard Poker, you don't do small and big blinds. You do an ante. Everybody pays an equal amount to start the game. In this case, it's a quarter. Backyard Poker is low stakes. You're not playing a sprint. You're playing a marathon. So I'm going to ante up, shuffle the cards, and it's going to start dealing out the cards. Now we're playing 5-card draw, and I'm going to pause the game real quick here, just by pressing the space bar. These are the cards that were dealt to me, and 5s are wild. So as you notice, anytime that you get a wild card, whether it's face up, face down, doesn't matter, it's going to show you this color, this light purple fuchsia type color. That just signifies that you have a wild card. Any wild card will show that on there. Now, because of that, my normal hand here would just have been a 9 high. I don't have a pair of anything. I don't have a flush or straight, anything like that. But this 5 gives me a pair of 9s. It turns this 5 into an extra 9, and that's why I have a pair of 9s. And as you can see, it actually writes your hand rank here for the cards that you have. Now, nobody else is going to have any other hands written here because that would be cheating. So for this game, it's only showing your hand here. But in other games, you're going to see other hand ranks if you're playing a stud game where cards are dealt up. So let me continue on here. Now what's going to happen is we're going to go to the betting. When you bet 5-card draw, you start with the person on the dealer's left. So Erika is going to open, and we're just going to see a betting round.
Open for a quarter.
Bump it a quarter.
I raise it to 25.
Raise it 25.
Call. Okay, so we had an open for a quarter. Somebody raised a quarter, another raise, and another raise. On Backyard Poker and Dealer's Choice Poker, there are raise limits. So typically you can only raise 3 times. Again, we're not trying to bleed everybody out of their money within the first couple of games. So there are going to be betting and raising restrictions. Because there was already 3 raises done, I can't raise anymore, so I'm just going to call. There was one open and 3 raises, so the bet is $1. I'm going to call on that.
Call.
And now everybody else has to
I'll call.
match all the raises.
Call, man, call.
Yippos, I'm in.
Okay, now 5-card draw, we go and actually draw. So you can draw up to 3 cards. If you have an ace in your hand, you can discard 4 cards. You have to show the ace and you can draw 4, but most of the time you're drawing 2. So I don't have much of a good hand here. So I just going to hold on to my pair of 9s and hopefully I get something decent. And I have a flush.
Open for a quarter.
So this is a perfect example of how a wild card can actually help
I raise it to 25.
your hand. So
Call.
another thing I wanted to show here. Raise 25. So with a flush and a wild card, 5-card draw, this is decent. This is a decent hand. There's a good chance I can win. Queen high, flush, and hearts is not bad. Remember with wild cards, the hand ranks that people possibly can have go up significantly. A pair in 5-card draw or high pair, 2-pair, 3 of a kind is usually good. When you have a wild card, you usually need higher than that. I think I'll be good with this, so I'm going to call. So Time to Fly thinks somebody has 4 of a kind, based on the raising maybe, but these AI players, I got to say, there's a lot of work to be done on them. They're not exactly smart poker players. They're very crude. So we'll see. I'm going to stay in.
Call.
I'm in.
And because there's no more raises,
I'm a fold on this one.
One of the raisers fold.
Yippos, I'm in.
I'm in, guys.
And then we'll see. No, I made it.
Must be my birthday.
So I won the hand. I get the money, obviously. And here's a couple of things that changed from my last version of the software that I was showing last week. The pot now used to have a text that said pot, and then it would have the amount. I changed it so it had this symbol, made the dollar amount indicator here a little bit larger, and it's a little bit more easier to see. Another thing which I'll show in a minute is the way that the talk bubbles were working. This reminds me of poker dealing school where no one folded, so there'd be a maximum of hands of each practice hand, aka dealer pain. Yeah. I mean, realistically, you should be still having people drop, whether you're playing Hold'em or this style. Be smart. I'm going to exit and go back in again because I want to call another specific game. So that one was just an easy one where we established the wild card at the beginning there. But I think what I'm going to do next is show Chase the Queen. So I'm going to exit to the lobby and go back in just so I can select the game again because I'll be dealer. So here's my guy. Now I already created my character. All I have to do is select him and he should pop up. And you'll notice that it doesn't take as long now that I have the avatar address stored in my project. It won't take long for him to load up. Then I just log back in. And I'm going to pick another game, and this time I'm going to pick Chase the Queen. Chase the Queen is cool because remember I said that in Chase the Queen, the wild card gets established when a queen gets turned up, or if another queen gets turned up. And what you'll notice in this one is if a queen does get turned up, you're going to hear a sound effect to tell you that the queen was dealt out. So this is 7-card stud. We don't have any queens yet. Ace high. So in 7-card stud, sorry, this thing's going to go. All right. In 7-card stud, you have cards that are face up. That's why you see some texture. It's only showing the face up card rank for your other players. Your text is going to show your entire hand. They're not going to see that. Only you see that. So this is showing text of what your up hand is for these players. So because he has an ace, the rule is on stud games, whoever has the highest hand showing starts the betting. So that's why he started.
By me.
So they're all checking. They're just passing.
By me.
Which I'm sure if you've played Texas Hold'em, you're familiar with checking. I don't have any reason to really open. No pairs, no possible straights, flushes. I'm just going to check as well.
Check.
And let's see. Oh, she breaks
I'll
the
open for
check.
25.
So now that she opened, everybody has to match or fold.
Oh.
Yippos, I'm in.
And I'm pausing the game again because I wanted to show the speech bubbles here. They show a history. So every time somebody does a action on the betting, it adds this speech bubble. And the latest one is on the bottom. It was a little bit more difficult to determine that before because these were all the same alpha or translucency. They were solid. Now if you see, the older ones will be see-through. So these are showing the previous decisions, and then the one on the bottom is always the current bet decision. Just another thing I changed. Clay, who joined the live stream last weekend, was the one who supplied me with a lot of these pointers. And thank you, Clay, for doing that. I really appreciate it.
Raise it 25.
Call.
Okay, so I'm going to call the bet. I want to stay in.
Call.
Nothing intimidating me yet. And I want to see if a queen turns up, because that could change the game drastically.
I call.
No queens yet. So I have the highest hand with an ace-8. So I'm going to open, I'm going to check.
Check.
Check. By me.
How about a quarter?
I match the bet.
I'll just call. I don't have a reason to raise.
I match.
I'll call.
And let's see if we see a queen.
Yippos, I'm in.
No queens. Wow. All right. Well, still only have a high card ace. What do we got out here? We got, oh boy, possible straight over there with cookie shirt. Not much. So I'm going to stay in.
Check.
There's no wilds until a queen's turned up. So we got just straight 7-card stud.
By me.
And if no queens turned up, there's no wild in this game.
25.
So hopefully at least we at least see one.
I match.
Bump at 25.
No, Erika's getting a little feisty over
I'm
there.
in.
So
I'm in, guys.
I don't know if she's bluffing.
Raise 25.
Has a jack in the hole or something. I'm going to
Call.
I'm not intimidated by her.
I'm in.
Somebody else raised?
Yippos, I'm in.
Call.
All right. There. You heard the sound effect. And what happened now, oh, I don't have to pause it. Because now let's look at this. The hand was dealt. The queen was dealt here to Sean. The next card that was dealt was an ace. So aces are wild. Now, one thing I didn't mention, up here in the upper right, whenever a game is played, the current game that's being dealt will be shown here, the title of the game, and it'll also tell you what's wild. So this is card after the queen, and in parentheses, it's showing what the current wild card is, aces. Now, this is it. This is the last card that's dealt face up. So there isn't going to be a change of the wild. This is it. So aces are going to be wild for the rest of the hand. Now, I got 3 kings. I'm definitely going to open. And because we have a pair showing on the table, the rule for this is you're supposed to only be able to bet for the ante a quarter. When a pair shows up or better, you can double that ante and bet for 2 quarters.
Open for 2 quarters.
I'm in. Nope, I'm out.
All right. Got some people
Raise it
dropping.
25.
Got somebody still raising over there.
I match the bet.
The bot doesn't raise, even though he has a wild card. I'm not intimidated. I'm going to raise him back $1.
Raise it $1.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in, guys.
Well, he didn't raise again, so... Oh, the bot says, hey, too rich for me. So I got a full house. Not too bad in this. I think I'm going to open. I don't see anything really intimidating with the cards that are face up, so I think I'm good with this
Let's
full
go
house.
50.
I'll call.
Raise it 25.
Oh, he's raising, is he? Well, I'm just going to have to raise you back, sir.
Raise it $1.
I don't know. This guy could have a bunch of
I'm
aces in the
out.
hole. I don't know. Very slim chance.
Raise it 25.
He's got me beat. Let's see. He has a... I don't know. I don't know.
I match.
I don't think he can beat me. Yeah, so I won the hand again.
All right.
A couple of things also in this game, the kind of the interesting side stuff. And I explained this in the last one. Down here is this little, we have these little poker indicator panels here. It shows the name like Erika, Dieon, Evie, Sean. These are just the computer AI players. Their current money, everybody starts with $100. And then your blood alcohol content. So this is one of the fun things I added to this game. As you play, when you fold and you lose, your blood alcohol content goes up. If you get to around 0.2, your character gets drunk. It'll look drunk. When it's drunk, the character may not always respond to the commands you give it because it's drunk. So that's one of the fun aspects about this game. Last week when I was doing the live stream, I had a drunk character, and when I tried to fold, it raised instead. Because, you know, obviously my drunk character thought what it was doing better than what I was asking it to do. So how do you get over being drunk? Win a game. When you win a game, you get a shot of coffee, and you basically sober back up again. So that's one of the fun things that I added to the game here to kind of give it a little bit of little tongue-in-cheek fun here. So as you can see, these other guys have lost games, and their blood alcohol content is going up on the little beer glass. I won a lot of games, so I got 0. I'm pretty sober. And because I just won a hand, you know, I'm definitely in the green on my BAC. Now, the other thing right here is just for you, the actual player. There is a leveling system. So right now, because this is a new player, I'm at level 1. So my current level, I call this the dog bone progressor thing here. And it tells you the level you're at, the number of poker points you need to get to level 2, which in this case is 100. Every time I win a poker game, I get 10 poker points. So if I win 8 more games, I'm going to level up. Now, just to give you an idea of the level, what the levels are, if I click on the dog bone, it brings up this table up here. It shows you the level that you're currently at, highlighted in yellow text here. It shows the number of poker points you're going to need to advance to each of these different levels. Every time that you go up a level, you'll be able to upgrade your cheats. You'll activate cheats and you'll be able to upgrade cheats. And then the number of cheat points that you're able to use while you're playing, because you'll only be able to cheat based on the number of cheat points available. I don't want this game to just be all cheating, so it's going to be very restricted. When you're chum, which we currently are, our character is right now, you have no cheats. So you don't start out with the ability to cheat. But I'm going to show you it on a different character in just a minute here. So let me, oh, did I pause the game? Okay. So this is Texas Hold'em.
Aye, man, check.
So I did say that Texas
Open
Hold'em
for
is
25.
one game that you can play on here,
Raise it 25.
but you're going to play it BakYard style,
Raise 25.
which is just ante. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and play. Oh, I got one suited here. I got some clubs. Let's see what we got.
I match.
See if the flop gives me some clubs.
I'll call.
All right. So pretty typical for a Hold'em game.
I
A
fold.
lot of people dropping pre-flop.
Raise it 25.
So we got some people
I match the
raising.
bet.
So I'll call.
Call.
What do you guys think so
I
far?
know.
I'm not hearing much from anybody. Oh boy, that wasn't too good.
Putting in 25.
3 clubs. Do I want to chase
Raise
a flush?
25.
He's raising. I want to see the next card.
I match.
I raise 25.
I'm in, guys.
Raise 25.
Okay, and I'm going to call.
I match.
You need to get other people to match the pot. Make the pot right.
I'm
Yep,
in.
you got a call on the last raise.
Call.
So do you. Oh, chasing
me.
that flush.
Open
Oh,
for
boy.
25.
I'm sure the purists would say, dude, no, don't be chasing flushes.
I match.
But I want to see what I get.
I'm in.
Raise it 25.
Raise 25.
Call.
Call.
I raise 25.
Okay.
Call.
Let's see.
I match the bet.
Let's see if we get a club.
Call.
Oh, no.
Putting in 25.
No club.
Call.
I am out. Not even a pair to show. So I fold.
See ya.
Now I folded, and my blood alcohol
Alcohol.
content went up a little bit. I'm still far from drunk, but what do we got here? What did she win? If I can look at her cards. She won with a high card? Oh my god. I would have won. Wow. All right, well, that's the name of the game. All right, let me show one more game, and then I'll start showing the cheating system, because there is another wild card game that's pretty interesting to play. It's one of my favorites. So I'm going to go back to lobby, go back into here, and select my character. I'm a bit dim. For example, with Texas, I can just think through my strategy to place well, so I watch and try to absorb them. Yeah, I know. I watch a lot more than I probably play Texas Hold'em. It's just not my cup of tea. I'll play it on occasion. I have nothing against it, but I really like this kind of style of poker. It's just fun for me. All right, so the last game I want to show is called Low Hole. So, another thing that I want to mention is when you look at these list of games to play, there is the option to actually favorite them. So if you click on this little star here, and then you click on this faves, it'll actually put these into the faves. And then you can just quickly go here and select from your favorites. When I start having a lot more games on here, and you might have to scroll down this list, having faves may be a good thing. And because I like Low Hole. Oh, Low Hole isn't on here. That's right. Because that's an advanced game. We're going to have to wait on that. But the one that I will play is called Spit in the Ocean. So if I mouse over this. Oh, and what I wanted to mention was whenever you see the text is in this like fuchsia color, remember the wild cards have that kind of fuchsia color? So any wild card game will have this text. It'll be in the fuchsia color. Anything that's just in white here, like Low Chicago or 5-card draw, regular 5-card draw, is non-wild, so it'll be in white. So Spit in the Ocean actually is a wild card game. I'm going to click on it. This is a variation on 5-card draw. So what'll happen is everybody gets dealt 4 cards instead of 5, and during the deal, somebody should say spit, and you click the button spit, and as soon as that happens, a card gets... I like that effect. A card gets dealt out into the middle, and then we do a bet.
Bump it a quarter.
So this is a draw game, but there's a little bit of a twist on it.
I raise it to 25.
And when we get back to
Call.
me...
Raise 25.
So yeah, because I said spit, and in the real game, if you were playing it multiplayer, everybody would have a spit button. The first one to press the button would actually tell the dealer to throw it out there. But anyway, this guy is in your hand. We don't know what it is yet, but it's your 5th card. It's also wild. So this card, you don't know what it is yet. You'll know just after we get done betting here. It is your 5th card, and it's wild. But you also do a draw. This is still a 5-card draw game, but this little twist on here. So I'm going to, let's see, I got high card. Who knows what that wild card's going to be. I'm staying in. So after the bet is complete, the card will get flipped over. And then we bet based on that flipped over card.
I call.
I'm in, guys.
Okay.
I'll open for 25.
Raise to 25.
Whoa, what happened there?
Yippos, I'm in.
Call.
Oh, the card was flipped over.
Raise
All right.
25.
So yeah, kings are wild, which is good. Now I have a straight. Oh my God, I could go for a straight flush. Interesting hand. I'm going to raise. What do you guys
Raise at
think?
50.
Do I go for the straight flush or do I stand pat?
I'm in.
Call.
I call.
I think
Not liking what I got.
Call.
so. I'm going to stand pat. I think the straight may do it. So I got 2 of the wild cards here. Although everybody has this wild card as part of their hand. So I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to keep what I got. So if I'm going to stand pat, I just don't click on any of these cards. I can click on any of these if I want to discard. If I want to stand pat, which means I'm not going to draw any cards, I just click the card here, discard, and just that's it. So then I'll say I'll play these.
Open for a quarter.
So that's the interesting thing. That speech bubble
Raise to
actually
25.
shows how many cards each person
Nope,
took.
I'm out.
So we got
Raise 25.
some raising. I'm just going to call. I'm not feeling too
I match.
ambitious.
I raise 25.
Call, man. Call.
Call.
I'll just call again.
Call.
And everybody has to... 4 of a kind. Wow. Okay, that's a good hand. She had a king. She had 2 sevens, so she had 4 of a kind. So this king, and these 2 sevens gives her 4 of a kind. So that's a good hand. Okay, so those are kind of the wild card games I wanted to show. I'm going to go back to the lobby, and now I'm going to load up my character here called Cheatin' Ryan. This character I created just specifically for showing cheating because he's a high-level character, so he has the ability to cheat. So I'm going to log in with Cheatin' Ryan. And what you'll notice, and I'm going to play, well, let's play something easy. 5-card stud. So 1 down and 4 up. So I click on 5-card stud. Now on the lower right here is the cheat button. And as you notice right now, it's dim. You can't click on it. And the reason is you can only cheat on the betting round. You can't cheat while dealing is going on or other complex things in the game. You can only cheat when there's a betting round. So I'm going to have to ante up. We're going to deal out
5-card stud, 1 down, 1 up. And now I can cheat.
Open for a
I'm going to wait for it to get over to me.
Call.
And what I'm going to do...
I call.
Raise it 25.
Call.
Wait for it to come to me. All right. So what I can do is when I click on the cheat button here, it brings up all the cheats that I'm capable of doing. Right now, there's 8 of them. And each one of these has a percentage. This is the percentage that the cheat is actually going to succeed. When you level up, you increase the percentages. You can do that when you level up. You can tell it which cheats you want to activate and or which ones you want to increase the percentage of them actually being successful. So one of the things that I can do is trade up. So let's say I don't like this 8. I want to replace this 8 with the deck without anybody knowing. I'm going to do a trade up. Now, when I do a trade up, it's going to use cheat points. In this case, this costs 3. And if you look down here, I only have 11 cheat points. When I use this, whether it works or it doesn't work, it's going to use 3 of those 11 cheat points. So I'm going to go ahead and click on trade up. I'm going to, if there was more than one whole card, I could select them. Obviously, I'm going to click on my 8. and it failed. So I was not able to successfully cheat. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep betting, and then maybe later on I'll try to do another cheat.
Call.
Yippos, I'm in.
Okay, so I'm definitely not liking my hand.
Alright, man. Check.
By me.
Pass.
Check.
So one of the other things that I can try to do is try to get somebody out of the game. I can try to intimidate somebody. It would be forced to fold. We got this ace queen over here. We got a possible straight flush going over here. I don't like this ace queen, so I'm going to see if I can get her out of the game by intimidating her. So it's going to take 5 points to do it, but I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on her, and it didn't work. Otherwise, she would have folded. So my cheats aren't doing too well, so
Check.
I'll check. I got a pair of 10s.
Open for 25.
Bump it a quarter.
Now I'm
Range
running out of
25.
cheats really fast here. So the one thing I can try to do is, oh boy, I can't intimidate anymore. I only have 3 cheat points left. So all I can do is slip a Mickey, try to trade up again, sneak a peek at somebody else's hand, or point doubler. Point doubler means that if you win the poker game, the poker points that you get double, but you have to win the game for it to happen. I'm going to do a trade up again. I'm going to see if I can get this 8 to be something else, even though it's a possible straight. It's a inside straight. So let's see. Hey, look at that. My cheat was successful, and I got myself an ace. So if I get another ace up, I may be doing good. Otherwise, this pair of 10s looks like it's gonna. It may float, or we may have trip 3s. I don't know how many other 3s we got on the up cards here. No, I doubt it. Could be 2 pair.
I call.
Call.
I match the bet.
I'll call. Interested in this last card. Got a possible high straight over here. No, that's broken. Oh, 3 of a kind.
Open for 25.
Yeah, I'm sure you will open.
I'm in, guys.
Trip 3s on 5
Oh.
or trip 10s on 5 of a kind. Definitely a good hand. So
Cards ain't worth a hill of beans.
I'll call.
Call.
all right, so I'm
Won!
so yeah, 3 of a kind 10s. We'll win almost every time on 5 card stud. So the cheating thing here, as you can see, I'm out of cheats, and I can't cheat again. Now, how do you get cheat points back? Well, if you look up here in the upper left, you have to play a certain amount of hands before it does a cheat reset. Once you play a certain amount of hands, your cheat points come back, and then you can do some cheats again after that. So this is about what I wanted to show. These were the new neat little things that this backyard poker game can do. In case you didn't notice down here, I got my little hand rank button here if you want to get a table of the hand ranks. What I will do in the future is if you're playing the game, I'll have it highlight your current rank so you can see it compared to other ranks. Somebody was asking about that before. So I think that's pretty cool. So you can either click on this or click on the table here and it'll close it back up again. Game description here. So if you ever want to see that description that you can see when you mouse over when you're selecting a game, you can just click on this guy right here and it'll actually describe the game that you're playing. So this is about it. This is about everything that I wanted to show this time. Next week, I want to show the advanced gameplay. We'll get into some really fun, interesting games. I'll probably only talk about a couple of advanced games because they're pretty involved. But yeah, we want to finish up with that. And then every week after that, I'll just be coming on and showing probably some more advanced games. Any new stuff that I add to the game, I'll definitely be streaming with that. And yeah, looking forward. I'm really looking forward to get multiplayer going on this. Believe me, I'm really working hard to make that a reality. Is there any questions, comments out there before I close out for the evening. I really appreciate you guys being here and checking this game out. I hope you find it interesting. I hope you go and download it. Join my Discord. Become part of the community. Anything that you suggest, I take seriously. If you have a game, hey, I want to play this game. You got 6-card stud. Why don't you make that game? Sure, we can create 6-card stud. Just about anything you want that you're interested in. I do want this to be like a community style development where the user input is front and center. Okay, well, I'm not seeing any questions or comments, so I'm going to close out for the night. Again, I thank everybody for participating in this live stream on all the different platforms. God, I forgot to mention I'm doing Facebook Live, I'm doing YouTube live stream, and I'm doing Twitch. So hopefully it worked for everybody, and thank you again, and have a good night.